Hang on.
I can't see. What is it?
Laura? Hang on.
Laura.
Hey,
Laura.
This is Laura.
Hey, you're on 99X.
What's going on?
What's going on, guys? How are you this morning?
Good. I don't know if I'm reading this correctly, so
You
just
did read
tell
it
me.
correct. People go to AA. I need to go to Dave A, as my mom says.
What is that?
I spend probably, and I'm not the worst, there's a girl out in California last year who did every single show of the tour. I spend probably, I've been doing this for 10 years though. I've been around, I'm from Charlottesville, but my mom lives in Atlanta. I've been following Dave Matthews, and last year I sat down and somebody said, how much do you think you spend on Dave Matthews Band? I'm a total groupie. He's a friend of mine too, and he's like, dude, you need to get a life. I spend between airfare, flying, and hotels, and rental cars, and tickets to see the show. I last year saw 45 shows. I fly everywhere. I see him everywhere. I fly to every benefit show that he does.
We understand. You like Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
How much?
How much money? Last year, I spent around $45,000 on him.
45. Oh, my God. And of course he claims he's a friend of yours. If he says he's not, he's losing out half his income.
Hold it. How does 45 shows you spend $1,000 a show?
Easily.
Airfare,
hotel.
Think
And
about
the tickets and the paraphernalia.
If I buy a pair of tickets just for the show, that's $100 and with taxes and everything, it ends up $150. That's just to see the show. That's nothing else.
Right. Plus figure, let's say average is probably $300 to $500 round trip airfare if it's in the United States.
Yeah. Oh, he only plays in the U.S. right now.
He doesn't play. He doesn't play Europe.
No, he played Europe back in '94.
Not much.
Dave Matthews, as big as he is,
he's not big worldwide.
Does he not like to travel?
He's played the UK once. Nobody knows who he is over there.
There's a lot of artists like that.
Why would he have to? And he's got income from this one for 50 G's.
So still though, 45. That still doesn't. That still sounds like
she is the European tour.
Yeah.
Think about
that
it.
still sounds like a lot. I mean, I don't spend that much.
Well, I also do weird things like I stay in his hotel.
So he's probably staying at the Four Seasons or the Ritz.
Yeah, he stays at Four Seasons Ritz. I mean, I do it first class. You have to believe me. I do it really nice.
Yeah, you're obviously single, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, it's really funny because I just got into a relationship back in February.
Is he a Dave Matthews fan?
Don't count on marrying that guy.
He's not. He lives out in California, and this summer the tour came out March or so, and I sat down and we had just started seeing each other. And I was like, so I'm doing this show, and I'm doing this show, and I'm doing this show. And he just kind of sat there, and it's really hard because it's caused a rift.
You know what you should get? You like at Moe's. You should get a Dave Matthews punch card that when you spend that much money at 10 shows, you get to go hang out with Dinner with Dave.
It's so funny because Corin Capsa, who's his manager, I see him everywhere, and I jokingly tell him, and he knows who I am, and we're friends. And like I said, I'm from Charlottesville, so I've known these guys for years before anybody knew them. And every time I see him, I say, so when are you going to employ me? And he said, I can't, because if I employ you, you won't spend that much money on me.
What's the name of the head lighting guy?
The head lighting is Fenton Williams.
Oh, no.
I had a chance to go.
Oh, my God.
Well, you know the head lighting guy.
Fenton back in the early 90s.
But of course you date him. How about the sound guy? Who's the head sound guy?
Oh, come on. Bagby? I know Bagby.
Bagby.
Hey, Laura.
Yeah.
I had a chance to go to their farm where they have the recording studio.
You went out there? Isn't it awesome? Isn't it beautiful?
And they're so laid back.
They're the coolest guys in the whole. They are the most laid back. It's so funny because in Charlottesville, if you don't own what do you call it? A Subaru.
Yeah.
That's all they drive, and they're the most laid back. It was funny. I just went back to see a bunch of friends over Memorial Day weekend, and they're all just it's called Fridays After 5, which is kind of like on the bricks type of thing, but obviously small scale. They're just walking around. I ran into Leroy, the saxophone player, and I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "What are you doing back in town?"
Leroy.
They're cool. They don't. I mean, it's so crazy because Sissy Spacek lives there too, and so does the guy who writes the Pelican Brief and all those novels.
John Grisham.
I mean, it's huge. There's the lady who owned the Laugh Factory. Her son, what's his name?
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore. He lives there. He's got there's tons of celebrities. They all are just. But Dave and his mom. I actually know his mom really well. I take care of her horses,
Okay.
And,
This is you're in the family.
You are deep in it.
You're deep in it.
It was really funny about 5 years ago when I was in college, and I would miss finals to go see him. I didn't care. I'd miss anything.
I mean, is this a sickness or?
No, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, really.
What do I do? I'm an accountant. I work as little as possible. I actually have my own nonprofit foundation.
I'm going to tell you this right now. If I knew that my accountant was spending $45,000 to go see a concert all over, I'd be getting a new accountant because I'd be wondering where all that money was coming from.
You can only like him so much, too. I mean, if I saw Journey
I totally get this.
45 times,
Journey.
No, I
well, that's my band.
But the thing is, have you ever seen Dave? Because people are like, how can
Yeah,
you
and
see
it bored the
Dave?
crap out of me.
It's a boring show, but here's the difference. I would submit.
Yeah, but people that like Dave go and see him over and over again. I know where she's coming from.
And also, Dave, and I'm going to put this on also kind of Springsteen-ish level. Dave's shows are kind of different. Each show is different.
Exactly.
I'm guessing Journey does the same
You're
set
awesome.
night after night after night.
Hey, Laura, have you met Dave's wife and seen the kids?
Yeah, actually, this is really funny because when I was out last year when they played the Gorge and finished up the tour, I had to do a business meeting. Dave helps fund my foundation, and I had to be there to do a business meeting, and I was supposed to be with him, and he never showed up, and he had his personal assistant who wouldn't reveal that till about an hour into the meeting. He's like, "Hey, you want to go over to Dave's house?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "He lives right around the corner," because we were just at a coffee shop up in the Seattle area. And I was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I mean, Dave knows who I am and all, but I don't think I should impose on him by going to his house." And he was like, "No, it's fine." So we went over, and I had met his wife once before. I changed the girls' diapers. They're the cutest little girls in the whole world.
He just let you in his house?
This is a little Glenn Close-ish.
Because he funds her foundation. She said, "Now, what's his house like?"
She's funding his.
House? Oh God. The best way to describe it would be to go to I don't know, in the Vinings type of thing, and it's an older, probably built in the mid 40s. It's just a house. It's nothing. His house in Charlottesville is just
kind of
It's nothing
normal.
Huge.
This is Laura.
He rents his house in Seattle. He doesn't even own it.
We are talking to Laura, who spends $45,000 a year traveling the country to see Dave Matthews. Stays in the hotels. Dave, how do you? I'm guessing. Does he fly private aviation or does he fly commercial?
No, he doesn't fly. They do a bus. If you think about it, all the stuff with what the airline industry is doing right now.
He doesn't fly at all?
Well, I mean, he does occasionally. If he's got to run somewhere, he's doing Farm Aid in the middle of his tour right now.
So you don't.
He'll have to fly off to that. But I mean, from show to show to show, it is virtually impossible because they do so many back to back. He has a bus that is it's probably one of the best out on the road. But yeah, he's got a huge bus and it's for him and Ashley when she decides to show up and hang out and the kids.
Have you ever been asked if you wanted to travel on the bus from one city to the next?
No, that is something, and
they keep you at an arm's length. I'm guessing in that regard.
I would say, if there are any of those, they probably won't admit it because it probably wasn't for the right reason.
Now here's a question.
That's what. Yeah.
You said you dated the lighting guy. How many people of Dave's entourage, including band members, lighting guys, sound guys, have you slept with? Honestly,
Four
in that crew?
Yeah.
Okay, and without name, well, you're not going to name names, and that wouldn't be fair to. We don't want to name them because we don't know what their situations are, and we don't want to incriminate them.
Right.
Anyone in the band, though, or?
No, I do know people who have, and and this is kind of a weird thing, and the reason I fell in love with these guys was I lost my father when I was really, really young, and that's what they are to me. They're more of a father figure, brother figure. People have always said, if you had your chance, would you be with Dave? And I was like, oh my God, no. That's not where they sit in my life. They are. I go to him for advice. I mean, and I have in the past when things are not good, and I'm like, I mean, when I got into this relationship, and this is a big one for me that I'm currently in.
You know, of that $45,000, you might consider shaving about 10 off for some therapy.
Hey, Laura, were you up here when he did one of the live X's for us?
Yeah, I've always wanted. It was funny when he did the live action.
He's done 3 for us.
I know the one he just did in December. I was down in the Tampa show the night before. We drove all night long from Tampa up here, and we were heard in the middle of the night. They were at 6 o'clock in the morning. You guys were going to someone was going to win a pair of tickets. We called in so many times. We called in to whoever, like, the midnight DJ was or whatever, and we're like, please, we want tickets.
Well,
They
why
were
do you
sorry.
need to win tickets from a radio station? You've slept with 4 of the crew members. You know Dave Matthews. You know his wife. Why can't you just call them and say, hey?
Well, I have. When it's something, he did a gig out in Vegas over Memorial Day weekend a couple years ago, and I really wanted to go, and it was supposed to be this private thing, and I made a phone call. I don't use my connections at all. I don't. That's not why they're there. I got lucky. I met these guys. They're really cool people, and we have a lot of fun together. I'm nobody different than anybody else, and I should buy my tickets and go and win tickets on radio. I mean,
You know,
She's the biggest
again,
Dave Matthews fan I know.
I
Absolutely.
don't know anyone bigger than that.
Seriously, and I know a
Yeah.
lot of fans, and you're the biggest one I've ever met.
Game over. Game over. All these people,
a lot
whenever
of
we
people
give away.
say that, and it's funny because somebody will be like, "Oh my God, you've been to so many shows," and people are like, "No, Laura, get over here. Tell them how many shows you've been to." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "It's not that big of a deal. I've been doing this since 1992." If you
So how
sit down
many?
When I kind of have just decided to lose count but it's sitting right around 147 shows.
Yeah. Yeah, game over. Whenever we give away these Dave Matthews things, we always get emails. I'm the biggest Dave Matthews fan ever.
I know, and they're long,
sorry.
like 5 pages
Right.
long of that.
Sorry, you
Yeah.
all lose. This is the biggest Dave Matthews
That's
fan
wild.
ever.
You're not exaggerating. $45,000 in a year.
Yeah, not exaggerating.
I would do it for Bruce. If I could spend that kind of money, I would do it for Bruce.
Let me just tell you,
Serious.
it sounds great and all, but financially, I have put myself in a situation that few people want to be in.
Yeah, are you like highly in debt?
Oh God, highly in debt. This gentleman I'm dating has asked me to marry him, and he's like, I was like, but you need to know my financial situation.
What a mistake that is. Yeah, he's going to inherit a $45,000 Dave Matthews bill.
Yeah, so he was like, so this year, actually, I have cut back, and it's so funny because my mom and my sister are like, okay, you're still not normal, but I've cut back to only I'm going to do 12 shows this year.
12, okay. Well, listen, hang on a second. We're going to get your phone number, Laura, because
Dave's
Dave's coming to town
and
in September.
We need to hook you up. So hold on.
All right, let's go.
Like she's not hooked up
God.
already.
Yeah, really.
Well, she
We'll
said
have an
though she
assignment
doesn't.
for her,
Yeah.
though, Barnes. We'll have a little assignment
Right.
for her.
Maybe she can interview him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Hold
you'll
on.
interview him. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who needs to be interviewing him.
Right.
We've interviewed him 15 times.
Right.
The best of the Morning X. 99X.